This can range from the most magnificent and loftiest experiences to the darkest in the human animal. It can run from dominance, rape, sadistic torture, to a sign that says, I will be yours for life, and everything in between.
Technically, it's penetration.
The actual physical act of making love to someone or just fucking them.
Sex, penis and vagina.
Well, they're all that's all sex. And anal sex, all of them.
Actual insertion.
The coital embrace between two humans or multiple human beings.
Sex is when a man and a woman do stuff together.
Sex is penis in vagina, except it's different with gay people because there's not a penis and a vagina per se.
Sexual intercourse between a man and female. Anything oral and the rest of the stuff.
Intercourse.
I don't really constitute oral sex as sex. I constitute intercourse as sex.
It's the ultimate way to show someone that you care about them.
It's an action that happens in the bedroom.
A penis going into a vagina and ejaculating.
The union, bodily union, physical coital embrace between a male and a female.
It was between two people, probably. In penetration, maybe.
I personally think that sexual intercourse is sex. I guess if you're asking when losing your virginity is, it's that. But that's for heterosexual couples too. It gets really complicated, I think, depending on who you're looking at or what kind of situation you're in.
I believe anything that involves the term sex is sex. So, for instance, oral sex. I know a lot of people don't consider that actual sex. But for me, if I were to engage in oral sex, I would consider myself to not be a virgin anymore.
It can go from the lightest of erotic touches, easy and light signs of affection, to the most intimate kinds of experiences with fondling and foreplay, intercourse, the presence of orgasm, the lack of orgasm. So the range within the human species is extraordinary. Sex doesn't produce meaning. Sex can only reveal the meaning that's there. If it's a really good relationship, erotic signs to the beloved can make a good relationship better. It will not help a bad relationship. In fact, my claim is, it will only worsen it.
Someone's ready for sex when they stop asking themselves if they're ready, because they will just know.
I think it would have to be on a personal basis. I really don't think kids 13 years old should be having sex, though, but who am I to say?
17 years old sounds about right. 16, freshman, sophomore in high school.
Something that depends on the person.
I think it depends on the situation they're in.
Right now, it is different for different genders, but I don't think that's right. But guys can have sex whenever they want for some reason, and girls just can't.
It's all up to the person, but over 18 at least.
I guess that depends on what you feel when you're not with them.
Someone who's been in a relationship for a while may be ready, like I know people that are 14, 15, 16.
I'd say by nature's definition, when a woman starts ovulating and when a man is able to produce sperm and have a firm erection, that is when it is appropriate for them to have sex.
Probably a personal choice. I'd just say it's up to the individual, really.
When they want to. It's just a feeling.
I think people are ready to have sex when they understand responsibility.
Up to the couple, if hopefully they are a couple.
Wait until you're married. I understand that a lot of committed couples live together, and that's also very often suggested. People suggested to me when I was in a serious relationship, well, how can you consider marrying him? You haven't lived with him yet, So I know that is seen as something that is sought after, but yeah, I would suggest to wait until you're married because you never know.
I think that if you need to realize like all the outcomes that could happen like through having sex, and like be totally emotionally, and like obviously you have to be like, you know, physically old enough, but kids grow up physically quicker, way faster than they emotionally do, I think, and they're so once you're like ready emotionally, I think, then, you know, that's when it's time for you.
Think of all of the languages that are spoken through sex. And one of the reasons they gave is sometimes it's curiosity. As young people growing up, we come to realize our body has physiological options. Pubescence emerges. We're thinking, something's going on here. I'm not the little kid anymore. And so it is important that not only do we come to recognize it, but that we get to know. That we don't find our bodies alien to ourselves. After all, it's the only way to live. To be human means to be an embodied person. So slowly, you know, with mistakes, fumbles, craziness, sometimes wisdom, we come to understand the area of sexuality.
Gay people are cool.
I don't have a problem with it at all. I think if two people want to do their thing, then that's fine.
I have nothing against it.
So one of my best friends is gay. I have no problem with it.
It's life. It happens once. Party it up.
My thoughts of homosexuality are similar to my thoughts of heterosexuality. Meaning I don't see them as threatening. I'm not uncomfortable by homosexuals or anything. It's pretty normal.
People are homosexual, and that there's nothing wrong with that, and that there's a lot of people trying to like tell other people what to do, and that's just wrong.
I believe in sex between a man and a woman for myself. I don't choose to have sex between myself and a man unless it's for a good amount of money, that is.
If I was gay, that'd be fine. If my friends were gay, that's fine. I actually have friends who are gay. Love them to death, same as anyone else.
I think it's okay with me. It's just not my boat.
It's cool if that's what you like.
There's nothing wrong with it.
I don't think should even be like an issue, you know.
I think homosexuality is probably the best thing in the entire world. I love gay people.
I've gone through different opinions on that over the course of my life. But I guess where I am right now is I think that there are certain people that are more prone to have homosexual tendencies because of their upbringing. But I don't think that you can be born homosexual.
It's weird for me to say homosexuality, so you can tell that my thoughts are like, I don't see it as a really different thing at all. I have friends that are all different sexualities, and you know, gay, straight, bi. I don't get how people sometimes say, oh, it's a choice, and why would someone choose to be gay and have like problems with every single thing that they try to do? Like, you know, they're not allowed to, like, you know, in most places, not marry the person they love, or, you know, be criticized by a lot of the population wherever they are, because no matter where you are, you know, there's always people that are going to have problems with something. I always think that people are born, you know, gay or born bi or whatever it is, born straight. That's the thing too. Like, why is it that you know, a choice to be gay? Is it a choice to be straight? I mean, it's just, to me, it's not even an issue.
I'd be the first one to say I have no specialty in the clinical research of it. So I regard myself as simply a layperson who reads and tries his best as a professor to come to know it. I have read that while we have some research on homosexuality and a lesbian orientation, it's still in its early stages in terms of longitudinal studies and that there's real dispute among scholars who study this, who are specialists. But it seems to me in the history of the world, I would imagine from the first human communities, there were individuals who in their adult years came to recognize that their, and probably the best language I could use is their predominant erotic attraction were to people of the same gender. And that it's not, quote, an occasional phenomenon, but a global phenomenon. And there has been, I think slowly through historical studies, the recognition of magnificent contributions to the human community, scholarship, medicine, all by people who, if you were to ask them about their sexual orientation, would say, I have a homosexual or lesbian orientation. We human animals like to know what's going on in the lives of others. Hopefully, kids are talking, and parents are talking, and those who love them, about the realities of life and their bodies and sex and sexual development as part of the human plan.
Sexuality in the media can be dangerous because it can give young children, especially like impressionable young females, a negative view of their body and themselves.
Well, unfortunately, sex does sell, especially on TV.
Music videos these days, you see a lot of women dancing around with their butts hanging out.
Sexuality in the media can be dangerous for younger kids because it's influencing you to believe what it's supposed to be like this. So if you think it's supposed to be like this and it's not, then your reasoning gets all messed up.
In the media, you see everyone like a size, like, I don't know, -0. You see like all these 0 size women and all these like men that are perfect. And I think it's actually starting to get worse for men now too. Like it used to be, just for women, but now men, like, everyone has to be like perfect muscular, and people are like taking steroids, and there's so many like issues that I think like, I don't think the media, like, maybe they realize that they have all this control and they're just doing it, but I think a lot of them like don't really think about the negative effects that could come out of it. I mean, they're just doing stuff to sell things because that's what they're supposed to be doing.
There's a lot of stuff that is real that's not a great situation that is on the news or on CSI or Law and Order. You see a lot of just real life, kind of bursting people's bubbles.
It's made for humans to enjoy it, so we do it more often.
I think it's both because it feels good when you do it, and you can also make babies.
No.
No, absolutely not.
No. I think it's something personal between two people.
No.
No. Sex is very recreational.
No.
I think that that's like something that brings two people closer together, and that you don't necessarily, some people don't ever want to have kids, and some people can't have kids, and some couples are a man and a woman. So I don't think that is it's about having kids, like only about having kids. Obviously, like that's the only way you have kids, so that's a big part of it. But no, I think that it's something to share with someone that's special and enjoyable, fun.
Why don't they get real about sex and sexual expression in so many of the soaps and various weekly serial programs? None of them want to deal with the messiness. So my take on it, for whatever it's worth, comedic or otherwise, is in a typical B-grade romance movie, I said, you see two people who are drawn to one another. Steam is rising from the floor of the bar where they find one another, right? And there's salivation going on, and you can almost hear the hearts pounding, and they maybe dance a little bit, and they embrace. I then ask my students, I stop and I say, what's your next scene? And inevitably my class will say, they'll be in bed together having sex. I said, bingo. It's as though the camera is set for, now the first thing we do is have a nice vertical shot of these two near robots moving towards one another, in an alcohol-laced setting. And then the next shot has to become horizontal. It's all so smooth. And the thing is, that smoothness on the screen, if you don't realize what's going on, you can think it's reality, that there's a class of people out there, that this is the way they live.
No. I think marriage is wrong.
I'm gonna say no on that one.
No. I hope not.
No.
Not at all.
No.
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 Absolutely not. I think it's inappropriate for people to not have sexual relations out of wedlock. Because, if you don't match sexually, you're going to be stuck with this person in theory for the rest of your life.
15.
16.
When I was 16.
I was 19.
17.
13? Yes. And she was 3 years older, so I felt like the man.
I was 15. Okay. December 21st, 1999.
I think that we're really trying to conquer our fears of sex. I mean, the reason, just to backtrack, the reason it's so dangerous and everything is not only does it hold a lot of very sacred emotions for a lot of people, I mean, you'll see that like really tough jock, like, you know, he's just like, oh, I just fucked this bitch, blah, 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 you know, but you know, like, he's just as sensitive inside as everyone else. It's gonna take more strokes for him or something, but this sex is very emotional for a lot of people. It's very primal. It's our entire purpose of existence, essentially, as a biological, you know, carbon being to reproduce like that, and it just hits a lot of nerves. As far as in, you know, the en masse, yeah, we're trying to break it down, but when it comes down to it by yourself, it's not that simple, I guess.
We're all sexual creatures, and so I think seeing so much sex is stirring up something in many more people than seeing.
And sexual expression, I think that that's something that's really important for women if they're comfortable and they want to, like, however they want to express themselves. I mean, sexual expression can be so many things too. No matter where you live, I mean, society is like a broad term, but if we're talking about like our culture, I mean, we've fought a long time to like be able to express ourselves. I mean, we haven't, and a lot of countries still can't express themselves. I mean, there are women in other countries that can't show any part of their body. And now, like, we can do whatever we want. I mean, you should be, if you want to do that, you should be able to do it. And it's a powerful tool.
We have an enormous national campaign for safe sex, and it's equated with latex. And I don't want to take away from physiology or prevention of disease, but I pose this to my students. I said, there's a presumption that you've handled the sexual question if you've wrapped yourself in latex. But I said, no one's come up yet with a condom for the heart. And so there is this question of, do you think sex is pure physiology? Or are there more dimensions to human sex than the biological operation? And I think most people would say, whether we like to admit it or not, there are multiple levels to the sexual encounter.